Yeah, so welcome to another episode of BritCaveBlitz. I'm Smith, which is at Sky Daddy Smith on Instagram and Instagram only. Joined by the wonderful Samuel.
Yeah, after missing a week, I'm back. Woo!
Love the enthusiasm.
That was my Nature Boy impression.
1 pint and 1 very frothy Guinness down, and that's the enthusiasm we get.
Yeah, just 1 pint and 1 Guinness, that's all.
Have you had a full bottle of tequila again?
I don't think I've ever had a full bottle of tequila in my life.
All
but
right.
sure.
I mean, it could just be one of those airport-sized ones. That's still a full bottle.
You are not wrong. Maybe I have.
So, we've already learned from this that Sam is a liar and should never be trusted. You can follow the podcast at BritCaveBlitz on all social medias. Sam, you still have no socials.
And you have socials. Do you want to tell the world what your socials are?
Yeah, at Sky Daddy Smith on Instagram and Instagram only. I said that before.
Oh.
Actually, after this story, your handle should be at TequiLIAR.
God's sake. I'm not a liar.
I'm a truther. All right, so
Week 5.
What we're starting off with.
This is where we're at. We're talking about week 5. Is that right?
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
It's week 5. I want to preface this. I don't know about Smith because I didn't really ask him about it. Or, well, I did. He just didn't seem to care. We're recording this late. This is being recorded on the Friday after the Thursday game. So we already know the results of the Thursday game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's not a prediction game, so.
Yeah, look, I can see why you don't care. You didn't care. Anyway, we shall get into some news. Obviously, this is final news that came out today, but we knew it was probably coming anyway. But Lamar Jackson has been ruled out to play against the Texans. Obviously, big loss for Baltimore Ravens, probably their best player, and has been definitely this season so far their best player on the field. I guess they're going to start Tyler Huntley.
I was going to say, who do they?
Oh, is it Cooper Rush? No, it's Cooper Rush, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember where Huntley went.
I think Huntley's still.
Simon Sermi was on the Browns, but that can't be true.
I think Huntley's practice squad, but of Ravens. So it'll be Cooper Rush, won't it?
Yeah, he's second string.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's not a great change to go from Lamar Jackson to Cooper Rush. I guess lucky for them, they're playing the Texans. They're not. The Texans aren't exactly a high-scoring team, so I can't think they should need to do too much.
I was going to say, you say lucky for him, but it has been noted that like the Texans' defense is quite a good defense, and the Baltimore defense is not. So it's going to be a good offense without their great to MVP caliber quarterback versus a good defense, and then a offense where the offensive line seem to want their quarterback dead against a half decent defense.
I mean, I agree. That's why I'm saying it's good in a sense that hopefully it means that they don't need to expect too much from Cooper Rush, because I can't see the Texans doing too well.
Yeah.
But obviously losing your best player, and especially considering how much that offense is detailed around Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a very different week for them. More injury news. Bucky Irving is now ruled out to play against the Seahawks.
Absolute shit show.
And why is that?
One of my star fantasy players.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm a huge Bucky Irving fan. I think he's great. I do think this is going to be quite a big loss for the Buccaneers. He does a lot for that offense. Obviously, they've still got Baker Mayfield, who's quite mobile, good wide receivers. Is Mike Evans still injured?
As far as I'm aware,
So,
I need to double check. I don't know if he got put on IR, so he's still got
yeah, he's still down
2
as
to
out.
3.
But backing up Bucky Irving is Rashad White, and obviously last year everyone expected Rashad to be their RB1, but obviously Bucky Irving showed how good he was. So I don't expect them to be completely lost now at running back.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had all 3 doing things, didn't they? With
Yeah,
Sean
Sean
Tucker doing a
Tucker as
bit
well. Yeah,
So I feel like Bucky is. I mean, he's shown himself to be the absolute out and out star, but it's not like they are without a running back who can do them work. And they've got Tristan Wirfs back, which means the O line is now in their actual positions. So it should lend itself to a decent run game for the Bucks again, and
yeah,
not force everything on Baker Mayfield to try and headbutt his way through a defense.
yeah, yeah. And then the final bit of news, and probably the bigger news, is Dylan Gabriel is now QB1 at the Browns. For me, I think it was expected that this was going to happen at some point. I don't know if I expected it to happen so early. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what I expected with that, in all honesty. Like you said, probably not. I guess, like, at the start of the season, yeah, I can say, no, I don't expect this to happen this early. I would expect if it's going to happen this season, it's going to be like week 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah,
But Flacco hasn't been performing the way that, like, the way that I thought Flacco would perform. Like, after him being on the Browns 2 years ago,
yeah,
and that performance compared to now
yeah.
is completely different.
You at least expected some reliability from him, and it just doesn't seem that the reliability is there. You probably wasn't expecting him to elevate the team to being electric and unreal, but at least have some reliability. And obviously, he seems to have lost that. But yeah, they're going with Dylan Gabriel. So I guess we'll get to see how he is. I don't really have much to say on Dylan Gabriel. I didn't really. It was a bit of a surprise that they took him so soon from anyway.
Did you see? Because obviously, yeah, he's starting, but Flacco is only going down to QB2,
Yeah,
and Shador's staying as QB3. Did you see his response when reporters were asking him about it?
yeah, he's pretty much silent, wasn't he, the whole time?
He mimed his answers.
Mind his answers.
Yeah,
Nice.
I honestly, the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, it's just a bad thing, because even the reporters asking questions sounded a bit muffled. But then I
Yeah,
saw the clip a lot clearer, and people were talking about it on actual panel shows and stuff. That he was just pretending to say something, but not
yeah.
actually verbalizing anything. And obviously, people were calling him childish for it.
I mean, it's not a great look, is it? But you're gonna be. I guess you're gonna be a little bit frustrated, but you've got to hold some form of expectation when you're being drafted in the 5th round to a team with who's drafted in the 2nd round and has a veteran. Like, you can't set your expectations too high, I guess. But yeah, will he make it to another team? I don't know. It's not a good look, is it? Especially if you want to end up playing in the NFL.
Well, I did see as well. It's kind of ironic that one of the 2 major teams who were interested in drafting him, but he said no, I don't want to sit behind a franchise quarterback. One of them was the Baltimore Ravens, and if he went there, he would actually be starting,
Yeah,
or possibly starting. I don't know. Maybe
possibly.
they would have done
Yeah,
the same thing of going, we know that Lamar's out for a while, but we'll still keep him as QB2.
yeah. So yeah, that is the wrap up on the news, or the not all the news, but the most relevant news at the moment. Should that'll bring us on to our week 4 hot takes. Now, obviously, I wasn't here last week, and you did your you and Greg did hot takes. I think you went first.
Yes, I did.
So that means that I'm going first this time round. I'm starting off light. I'm easing my way back into this because obviously I had a week off last week. This is not exactly a hot take, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs will end the season as the all-time rushing touchdown scorer.
Oh, have you looked that up? Like, as in, how many touchdowns do you need?
So the all-time,
Because I don't know if it was all rushing touchdowns, but I know. Do you remember the last year that Jamal Williams was on the Lions?
yeah.
I'm sure he was leading the NFL in touchdowns, and I can't remember if they were all rushing ones, but I'm sure he ended on like 16 or something like that. So I wonder if it is like that, around that number.
Because last year he got 20, didn't he?
Were they all rushing though?
What I meant is he will end up the all-time rushing touchdown scorer before the age of 24. Not all-time.
Okay.
All-time. So currently he is on 30 and the record is 43. His birthday is next year, so he's got all of this season to do it. So basically I think he's going to get 13 more rushing touchdowns from this point.
Yeah, I mean that's highly believable.
Yeah. Well, I fucked that up, but I brought it back round. So I think in normal touchdown, like overall touchdowns, he's 11th overall, but currently 7th on the rushing touchdown list.
Okay. So just quickly looked up the list for like the single season.
Yeah.
Rushing touchdown. So the actual record for a single season is 28.
Jesus Christ.
By LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams is on there with 17 from 2022, so that's the year that I remember. But he's he's joint 26th on that list. Yeah. One of them on that list is Derrick Henry in 2017 as well.
Yeah.
He's also, joint with LaDainian Tomlinson there as well for his 2004 season.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, actually, somebody who's still playing who's higher on that list is Raheem Mostert with 18 in his 2023 season. I didn't realize he got that many.
Yeah, that was when the
it was Miami him
Dolphins were ridiculous, weren't they?
A-Chain, yeah. I didn't realize that he got that many. Also, drawing with LaDainian Tomlinson at 15th there as well.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor, 2021 season, 18 rushing touchdowns.
Jesus. You forget how good he is. Anyway, let's move on to your first hot week. Let's move on swiftly to your week 4 hot take.
Okay. My 4-week hot flush. I think Egbuka will be wide receiver 1 for the Bucs by the end of the season. Now, I'm not just saying that because of injury. I'm also saying that because both wide receivers who are the dominant have been the dominant and predominant wide receivers for the Bucs in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are reaching a tail end of their career type of season. Obviously, both of them have had injuries this year, so I'm not saying that in form of like stats, like he's going to have because I think he's clearly going to have better stats than them.
You think they're going to physically move him up in the depth chart? So by the end of the year, if you look up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers depth chart, he will be listed as wide receiver 1.
Yes.
Well, I think that might be true when you look at it on the field. I don't know how much they will actually do that on the depth chart, just because it doesn't really matter, does it?
I just think because of how he has been performing, obviously, he's healthy. They're not. And like the games where, say the game where they beat the Falcons, Mike Evans said afterwards that he called that play himself.
Yeah.
So he's already establishing himself as like a leader and somebody who can make decisions themselves in the moment to give them or put them in a winning situation. So I feel like he's not only played extremely well, but also earned trust and respect in that offensive group.
I do want to say that I wrote these hot takes on Tuesday when I woke up after watching the Monday game. That'll be relevant at the end when I tell you my little secret about my hot takes. I just want to say this now. So my second hot take is Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens will only manage a 9-8 season at best. Now I say this, and like I said, obviously it was quite obvious that he picked up a small injury on the weekend. I wasn't basing this on him being out. I didn't think he was going to be out. I imagined he was still going to come back and play. However, obviously they've got off to quite a poor start. They seem to be their own worst enemy. We have seen this kind of form from the Ravens before they pick up. I think it was only last year where they pretty much had the worst defense in the league come week 4, and then they managed to turn it round. We're a quarter away in the season. They still only have 1 win. It's 13 games. They can only lose 5. And they've still got to play the Green Bay Packers. They still have to play the Vikings. They still have to play the Rams. Obviously, you've got both Steelers games, both Bengals games. While they might be a bit easier because they're obviously in the division, I don't think they're going to be necessarily the easiest. And I think, obviously, now Lamar Jackson's out for this game, it's definitely possible.
Considering that division and how it is, and how we've discussed the Bengals, even when Joe Burrow was healthy, it's a bit... Honestly, it kind of blew my mind, and I had to double check that the Bengals have a win more than the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realise that's how it was.
To be fair to the Ravens, they have run a little bit of a gauntlet at the opening of the season. Obviously, their 3 losses have come against the Bills, the Lions, and the Chiefs. So it is a bit of a gauntlet. But when it always came to the Ravens, even in games they lost, they still look like a convincing team. Right now, for me, Jackson is the one thing that seems to be holding that team together. Zay Flowers is doing decent. Henry seems to be struggling a little bit. They seem to be losing out on the rushing game quite a lot. And then obviously in the loss against Kansas City, it just didn't look like a Ravens team. And that's basically where my prediction has come from.
Yeah, no, I get you. I know, yeah. Nothing else to say to that. Is very, as much as a hot take as it is, I think it's reasonable.
I mean, it's hot takes for a reason. I'm not going to come here with no cold takes, am I?
No, but if you brought some cold cuts, won't argue.
I've got to be a little bit controversial here. I could have come out and said they wouldn't win another game, and that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be interesting if I came out and said, I think the Ravens are going to win 12 games.
Whoa, don't say words like that, Sam. That's too controversial.
Because that's their expectation.
Okay, my next one. So, the person that... I can't remember if one of us or both of us had put down to possibly be Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Mr. Jamar Chase.
Mr. Jamar.
I don't think he's, for stats, as in, touchdowns, receiving yards.
Yeah.
Maybe receptions as well, but I don't know about that one. I don't think... It's not even top 5, not even top 10. I don't think he's going to be in the top half of wide
top
receivers.
16.
Yeah. I don't think he's
wide
going to be in the
receivers
top...
or wide receivers ones?
Of wide receivers.
Jesus. So you're talking 36th and down?
Yeah.
That is a hot take. That is a very hot take. It will be interesting to see how it plays out because obviously a lot of his productivity comes with his connection to Joe Burrow. And he had a great season last year on the basis that also Joe Burrow had a great season last year.
I am also basing this off the fact that somehow, and I didn't know it was possible, that the Bengals O-line looks even worse than last year. Because I keep seeing the clip circulating. Do you remember, obviously in the Super Bowl, everybody was like, how the Eagles never rushed more than 4 players, but still kept making it to Mahomes
Yeah.
and putting pressure on.
I know what clip you're talking about. The one where the Broncos rushed 3 people.
Yeah, they rushed 3 people, and the line and the backer, 4 of them go after one person, and then the 2 tackles instantly get beat by the edge rushers.
Yeah.
So
it's
it's
really
not
impressive.
even the fact that they rushed 3 and one person. They rushed 3 and 2 people made it through. 66.6% of the rushers made it through for a sack.
Yeah, and the Bengals were lined up with a possible double team on all 3 of them.
Yeah. Instead, they quadded one of them and then missed the other 2.
Yeah,
so even when Joe Burrow is back, 1, he's already injured or coming off an injury, and 2, yeah, like I said, the line is looking even worse than it was.
I agree. The line looks even worse. The only thing I will say is obviously that he's never gone below 1,000 yards, and in those seasons, Joe Burrow has been injured, so he still has some productivity there. However, the Bengals' offense minus Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow looks extremely weak, or a lot weaker than it has been in the past few years. So I don't mind it.
Good. Well, there it is.
My third and final hot take, again, not necessarily a hot take, but all of this will make sense when I do my reveal at the end. Josh Allen will be the 4th ever player to win back-to-back MVPs.
Okay. So the only reason that's surprising is because you have said that you think Lamar's having an MVP season again, but do you reckon that's just halted because of the injury? Or at least it gives Josh Allen the edge over him because he's consistently healthy.
The thing is when I say that he's having an MVP season, I don't mean that I think he's going to win the MVP. I'm just saying he's putting up numbers that could be he's having a season which is MVP caliber. It doesn't mean that I think he's going to go ahead and win it. It's the same with Puka Nacua right now. I think he's having an MVP level season. What he's doing is incredible. Do I think he's going to end up winning the MVP? I don't know. However, my prediction is that Josh Allen will be the 4th ever player to win back-to-back MVPs. I think he'll be the 5th because there is 4. So you've got Joe Montana won it back-to-back, Brett Favre won it back-to-back, Peyton Manning has done it twice, and Aaron Rodgers has done it. And then, if we want to get technical, he would be the 6th, but before the merger, Jim Brown did it. I got it wrong. Josh Allen will be the 5th ever player to win back-to-back MVPs since the merger.
Yeah, he's definitely playing like he could win it. He's definitely putting up the numbers. It is still feeling like as good as James Cook is as a running back, as good as in some games Keon Coleman has been. I say some games. I feel like out of the 4 games, he's had 1 extremely good game, and then the other 3 have kind of been average. I don't know if that's because he's been covered more because of the first game or what. But it still does feel like it's all rested on Josh Allen.
Yeah, obviously there's this huge narrative that Josh Allen is doing it without the weapons that some of the other quarterbacks have, and it's true, he doesn't have the most talent. It doesn't mean he has no talent. Obviously, James Cook is a really good running back, but I do think James Cook is a really good running back, or looks like a really good running back, because of the threat of Josh Allen.
Yeah. I would also argue that Josh Allen does have a good and what seems to be consistently healthy O-line as well to help.
Oh yeah, I mean his O-line is superb. I'm not going to take that away from him. A lot of the reason that he is unsackable is because a lot of the rushing doesn't get home. I will say a lot of the weapons on the team are made to look better because of Josh Allen's ability and his ability to extend plays, ability to be a bit of a wild card, and you see it's not just him, is it? You see it from Lamar Jackson, you see it from Patrick Mahomes. Players look a lot better because the defense has to focus so much on the quarterback. It opens up more room to be a better player and windows to be a better player. So yeah, that's my third and final prediction, or third and final hot take. I'll let you say your hot take, and then I will share my secret with you.
So, I mean, you kind of mentioned a bit of mine then, that I think this year, and I think he's kind of been not ignored, but I think passed over in the past year or two. But I think Puka Nacua is now and can end the year as a top 5 to top 3 wide receiver in the entire NFL.
Yeah, I 100% agree with this. He's having himself a season this year. I think obviously these early on pace to do stats are always a bit insane, but he's on pace to break the receptions record and the receiving yards record this season. And not even by a close margin, by a lot. Like, he can have a couple of down games and still be on pace to beat those records. So yeah, he's playing fantastically. Obviously, these records are a little bit sullied by the fact that they play an extra game now. So obviously, looking at records that are like yards per game are obviously a bit better to tell this kind of stuff. But he is definitely up there. And for me, it's not just how good he is as a wide receiver. Like, he is a really good blocker in the run game as well. Yeah. Like, he's like a tight end who plays wide receiver, really, when you see him block.
Yeah. I think what I've been watching and listening to recently is that, like, obviously he's not the fastest and he's not, like, the biggest, but he's a very skilled and physical player. And even, like, when he's on one-on-one, like, the way that he can still just bring the ball in, it's both that level of talent, skill, and physicality of the whole, like, once he has hold of the ball, there's no getting it out.
Oh yeah, and his catching range is huge because he will dive for balls that are literally millimeters from the ground and be able to catch him, and that shows with how much trust Matt Stafford has throwing a ball that is going directly towards the safety, and if it's any other receiver who's going for the ball, it's going to be an interception, but he knows Puka Nacua is going to dive that route and get there first.
And obviously, like, we would usually do these hot takes, like, so, like, these are from after watching the first 4 weeks and then for the rest of the season. Obviously, they've played their week 5 game because of when we're recording this. In the week 5 game, his target share was just over 46% of the passes.
Yeah.
So that shows how much of a connection and how much trust Stafford has in him.
Oh, yeah.
It also just shows how, when receivers say, "I'm always open."
Yeah.
And this clearly, he's always in the right spot. He's always open. Or if he's not open, he's pushing a motherfucker out of the way to get open.
Yeah. Is it Ocho Cinco who said, "There's 3 things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and 85 will always be open"?
Yeah. I remember one of his interviews where he's like, "Yeah, I used to ring my coach at like 2 a.m. and then they'd answer and he'd go, 'It's 85, I'm open,' and then just hang up."
Yeah, I mean, he's really impressive, and I know you say he's a little bit overlooked. I think that comes down to playing for the Rams. He's just not seen as a flashy team.
I don't even know if it was flashy. I think it was just like because of when he was drafted, right after the year of the amazing Cooper Kupp Triple Crown type thing. That because Cooper Kupp was there, he was.
But you got to remember, you remember when we was doing like the record sheets and everything like that, and every single week, we got to week 12 and we was like, right, we need to stop writing about Puka Nacua now because every week we're writing about Puka Nacua, and he broke so many records as a rookie, and he still didn't get talked about like he was as amazing as he was. But like you said, that could have been because of Cooper Kupp's amazing season.
I think, like you said, I think it might be just a combination of two because it's one of them. They've got another veteran wide receiver in there now who is doing well, but
I think the other thing is like you bring up Cooper Kupp's Triple Crown season, and I feel like his ability, and I've done it as well. I've done it more to piss off one of our friends, but his ability has been disrespected a little bit as well. Like Cooper Kupp's, like he obviously had that amazing Triple Crown season, and still people kind of disrespected him. I don't know if it's a Rams thing. I think the thing is the Rams have no fans, do they? So I guess there's not many people to hype up their players.
Yeah, I've seen things of other players saying that they play fake crowd noise because the fans don't show up.
Well, like you said, we the Thursday game. Did you not see how many San Francisco fans were there? Did you see the crowd? It was basically red.
I didn't notice, but I did hear one of the things saying that the 49ers fans just travel well, so I just kind of put it down to that.
It's not that they travel well, it's that the LA supports the 49ers. Like, okay. They moved to LA, and LA already had a team, so no one is... All you've got really now is like either bandwagon fans or new fans, and obviously new fans aren't going to be the people going to the stadiums right away.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, they said that 49ers fans travel well, and all I thought was, because San Francisco is like one of the most expensive places on earth to live.
Yeah.
So they're the people with fucking money and can do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Anyway, here's my reveal. Okay.
Ooh.
My week one hot takes.
Put it away. What?
My week one hot take, I talked about JJ McCarthy. He is now injured. I talked about Tyreek Hill. He is now injured. I talked about Malik Neighbours. He's now injured. I then also talked about putting my predictions about Lamar Jackson. He is now injured. So maybe I'm just casting a little bit of bad juju. I'll be honest with you.
Who have you just talked about? You just talked about Josh Allen.
I did. And Jameer Gibbs.
Shit. I don't think I have either of them in fantasy, so maybe I'm safe.
I've got Josh Allen in one of mine. I will, however, say that I didn't write these with that knowledge, but when I went back through after I wrote them, I started realizing a trend. And when I say that, those, so JJ McCarthy, Tyreek Hill, and Malik Neighbours are the only 3 hot takes I've made about players. All the other hot takes I've made are about teams. So any player that I've made a hot take about has ended up injured, and Lamar Jackson has already become true.
What god do you have a deal with?
I am deaf.
Maybe it is that.
So keep your eye on Jameer Gibbs and Josh Allen, I guess.
My God, no. And not even for like fantasy purpose or anything. It feels like it will ruin football for the year to have players like that out.
Yeah, I know. The excited players out. But yeah, seems to be my superpower.
Quick, name a good Saints player.
Oh wait, it doesn't matter.
Drew Brees.
Anyway, let's move on to week 5, and let's talk about the upcoming games on week 5. I'll quickly run down the teams who are on the bye week. That is Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
For a week.
The good thing for the Atlanta Falcons, it means they won't lose the game.
Yep.
Obviously, the 49ers game and the Rams game has already happened.
I mean, right, okay, so we'll just say this. Yes, it's already happened. But we have textual evidence that before it happened, you were like, Matt Jones going to go for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
I did say that. I did kind of say it as a joke. I'll be honest with you. Just because of what, obviously, our friend Nick put, he was betting on about Matt Jones. I did put it as a low-key joke, just to get a reaction out of him. But then when he kind of was like, that's never going to happen, I did start to believe that it was going to happen. He didn't go for 400 yards, and he didn't go for 4 touchdowns. I was being exaggerative, but he had a pretty good game. 342 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and what, two of those touchdowns were in, what did he say, 17 minutes?
Yeah.
So it's not like it was like a fluky thing.
No, he definitely had a good game. Obviously, Matt Stafford had a good game. I think he threw for 3 touchdowns and got more yards. He almost got 400 yards. passing yards. But in the end, the 49ers won 26-23 in an overtime kickoff and a really bad coaching decision from Sean McVay to go for it on the 4-1.
Yeah, he said afterwards, didn't he, that like that was a mistake.
They definitely should have kicked the field goal and took it to another round of overtime. And obviously, Kyron Williams made that big fumble on the go. Well, I say it's not really his mistake. It was a huge play, wasn't it? Who was it who punched it out? Do you remember?
Number 95 for the D-line, but I can't remember what his name is. All I remember is number 95, defensive tackle, and he was from the College of Texas. So Longhorns.
Yeah, Alfred Collins.
But I think it's that one that I've seen replayed that he doesn't actually punch the ball out. He punches Kyron in the face.
Whatever works. Obviously, so they had that fumble. Matt Stafford had a fumble. If you're going to lose the turnover game, you regularly lose the full game anyway. I will say going into this, and you'll probably agree with me, is that I would have thought the Rams would win this game.
Oh, easily.
The 49ers are a skeleton. They're running Mac Jones, their backup quarterback, who, all things said and done, is not the greatest quarterback. Obviously, they still have Christian McCaffrey that's taken all the powers from everyone else. But their wide receiver one was Kendrick Bourne, a Patriots reject. So obviously, going into the game, you kind of like, nothing's going to happen. Kendrick Bourne became prime Megatron somehow.
When you said like obviously I wrote these before this game happened and stuff, I was really like debating whether to just change one of mine to be like Kendrick Bourne will have a breakout game.
I mean, good for him. Well done, great game. 11 targets, 10 receptions, did really, really well. Yeah, definitely went beyond my expectation. That the San Fran defense still looked great. Obviously, Fred Warner is unbelievable. Yeah, definitely helped them win that game. But 4-1 for the 49ers. Let's move it on to the next game then, shall we?
Who we got first? We got it's the London game. So Minnesota have stayed in London. Well, they've stayed in the UK because there
was the island.
Yeah, they've stayed in the UK. Yes, they've stayed in the UK, and they are playing at, and I'm doing in quotations, even though it's an audio podcast. They are playing at the Cleveland Browns. 2:30 p.m. kickoff for us, which I think is 9:30 roughly in America, depending on which area of America.
Yes, they're obviously both coming off losses. The Browns lost to the Lions 34-10, and the Vikings lost to the Steelers 24-21. It was a close loss for the Vikings. They didn't look terrible. They definitely could have looked better. The Browns are running a new quarterback, aren't they? They're running Dylan Gabriel. I don't really know what to expect from him. Their defense was 2 weeks ago the ultimate key into them beating the Packers. They literally left it so that they only needed to score 13 points to win. They haven't put up more than 17 points this season. Is Dylan Gabriel going to help them break the 17-point boundary they seem to be stuck in? I just can't see it, and I do think the Vikings would be able to put up more points than that. They only put 6 up against you. Carson Wentz looked fine, very serviceable as a backup, so it should be an interesting game. And it's in the UK.
Yes, it is in the UK. It's on our turf. I do think this is more going to be the battle of the defenses. Like we know how like forceful and overpowering the Browns defense is, but the Vikings defense has been great all season. The Vikings defense has been great all season. I don't know if they can do the same like on the line in the trenches that the Browns can do, but it could be that mismatch of the Browns can control the trenches defensively, Vikings can control the backfield defensively. Could that mean that the Browns have a better run game this game? And if Wentz can get it out fast enough and away from the trenches, that Wentz can have a good passing game? Don't know. But, like we said, it's in London. Teams don't seem to keep their own identity when they play international games for some reason. I don't know if that's like just an aura thing, or there is just some weird type of we're not in the same place. The turf's a bit different, not used to it. Yeah, I don't know if it's like that, but it does definitely feel like this is going to be a clash of the defenses.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I've said before that I do think that the Vikings have the best overall defense when you take into every facet of players, coaching, and scheme. And obviously, the Cleveland have some unbelievable game wreckers. Mason Graham's been really good for him, and not much needs to be said about how good Myles Garrett is. So it definitely is going to be whose defense can cause the most destruction will be the winner of this game.
Up next, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes, that's
Geno
the first.
Smith versus Danny Dimes. No, not Danny Dimes. Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Took me a minute to remember what his nickname was.
The Raiders lost their game, close one to the Bears, 25-24, and the Colts also lost to the Rams, 27-20. I do think the Colts loss was probably expected, just based on the fact that they had such a unexpected start to the season with their 3 wins and looking absolutely electric on offense. However, they still did look like a good team, even though they lost to the Rams. The Raiders, for me, are still they're still in a bit of a we don't know what we're doing window. They did look better, but it was still the Bears, and they made Caleb Williams look like a possible franchise quarterback, which is a bit of a weird one.
I'm unsure how I feel about the Raiders defense at the moment.
Yeah.
I can't tell if they're good or just a bit lucky. Offensively, the O-line's a mess, and I just think that's because Pete Carroll is... I don't understand why he's not putting certain players in their best positions. And then recently, their left tackle is on IR as well. Their left tackle was like 2nd or 3rd in the league, best graded for pass protection, which is weird because it's on the Raiders, but they were. And they've lost them for at least 4 games, so I don't know how well a backup's going to do against this defense with like DeForest Buckner in the middle, Latu on the edge. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work with that. So I don't know if, because of that messy line as well, I don't think Gentry's going to have a decent game. I mean, don't get me wrong, like we've discussed, a majority more of his yards have came after contact.
Yeah. I mean, he had a much better game against the Bears, to be fair. Mm-hmm. I think he ended up with 138 rushing yards. And all in all, looked a lot better. But you're right. They're now an even weaker offensive line. They're coming up against a much better defense. I do think the Colts defense is much better than the Bears defense. And while obviously I do think they had a better game showing against the Bears than they did against the Commanders, the Bears are the type of team that I think, yeah, you might look good against them, but you need to, if you want to convince me that you are moving in the right direction, that kind of productivity needs to move on to the next game as well. Just because you're not playing one of the better teams in the league. Yeah. And I mean, you know me. I tend to be quite negative when it comes to teams and stuff like that. I'm still not 100% convinced on the Colts. They are having a great season, and obviously Daniel Jones looks like a completely different player. Jonathan Taylor is, we said it before, you kind of forget how good he is, especially when like the Colts don't have a good season. You don't really talk about him, but even when they don't have a good season, Jonathan Taylor is one of the players who still is great. And then their new pickup in Tyler Warren is doing really, really well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think if they can do the same that they did to the Titans, to the Broncos, and to the Dolphins, show a long way to being like, this wasn't just us catching these teams at the beginning of the season. This is actually how good we are.
Yeah.
Like we weren't just beating them because it's the beginning of the season and they've not really got their scheme down and they need to work together. We're actually a good team.
Yeah, I get that.
Following on from the Indianapolis Colts, we've got Daniel Jones's old team, and that's New York Giants at the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to make a prediction for this game. I'm going to say that this is Smith's worst game of the week prediction. The Giants started Jackson Dart last week. He managed to carry them to the win, a shock win against the Chargers. The Saints lost. Is anyone surprised by that? I know I'm not.
Right.
Is there much you want to talk about on this game, Smith? I can't imagine there is much you want to say.
You know what? For the first time, I'll actually watch a Saints game because I want to see Jackson Dart and Scatterboot absolutely wreck them.
Just running through
but
players.
I also think this will be the ultimate watch for a New York Giants fan of being like, like absolutely beating the shit out of a team and almost a low-key thing of that's how it feels type of thing. Because I want to see I'm really into Scatterboot this season.
I can tell,
I'm really into him as a player. And then the defense. I thought it. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, the Chargers were already without their starting right tackle with Slater, and then obviously Joe Alt went out early as well. So they did have both first string tackles out. So I get that defensively that makes your job a little easier, but they still did a good job at putting the pressure on. And then against the New Orleans line, I think they're gonna rack up the sacks.
Yeah.
How do I patent a quote?
Rack up the sacks. Is that your new thing?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm
right. Even if we don't rack up the sacks, I don't legally have to do it because it's a slogan, not a fact.
Exactly. There's a little bit of a weird inside joke. I will say, obviously, for the New York Giants, this is a really good game to be playing after you've just had a shock win. It definitely will help build the confidence. I don't really see it as a slip-up game for them because obviously, usually when you play these not so good teams, they can potentially be a bit of a banana skin. I just don't see the Saints as an established team. I think it was it last week's hot takes when Greg said he thinks the Saints could genuinely not win a game for the rest of the season. I agree. Simple as that. So this will definitely be a confidence building. It hopefully will spell good things for the New York Giants.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say it's kind of a shame that Spencer Rattler doesn't have a famous girl that he's dating. Because we got the hype and I don't know, what would you call it, what Jackson Dart did with the Chargers?
Where he posted a picture of Madison Beer and put motivation?
Yeah, but he also, as well, when he got interviewed before the game and stuff like that, got asked who his celebrity crush was, and he said her.
I think he just got in the Reds, didn't he?
I was going to say, is it Mind Games? Did you just call it Mind Games?
Definitely, yeah.
It's a shame that there's no one like that he can do mind games with.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he needs to win a game is mind games, and this is how he loses it because he's like, the Saints are so irrelevant. I've got nothing on them. So is this your worst game of the week, or are you actually not picking a Saints game as your worst game of the week?
I am looking. I'm actually not gonna pick this as the worst game of the week.
Okay, so we'll move on from your not worst game of the week to my worst game of the week, and that is the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys tied against the Packers in a 40-40 shootout, and the Jets lost to the worst team in the league, the Dolphins, officially making them the worst team in the league. I will start off by saying that this is my worst game of the week, simply because who likes these teams? Do you know a Cowboys fan? Do you know a Jets fan? I don't.
I know of a Cowboys fan.
And I bet he's fake. I bet he's not real. I bet someone made him up.
Yeah, sorry, Terry Tones.
Somehow Dak Prescott is... Well, I mean, I say somehow. We said at the beginning, we actually don't mind Dak Prescott at all. We actually quite like him. He just plays for the wrong team. He's having a great season. Very similar to his 2023 season, where I guess he has to be the ultimate gunslinger because somehow they are either losing a game or going to the very death and having to put up 40 points to even just salvage a tie. So, do I see them doing this? Do I see him being able to replicate that against the Jets? I'm not too sure. And I've got nothing to say against the Jets. Fuck the Jets. I hate the Jets. That's it. That's my input on this game.
Okay, right then. Denver Broncos at Philadelphia Eagles.
And you've got nothing to say against.
Not really. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos, they won their game. They absolutely demolished the Joe Burrow-less Bengals 28-3. And obviously the Eagles won in very boring fashion against the Buccaneers 31-25.
You say boring fashion. The end of that game seemed exciting.
For the
Bucs
Buccaneers,
could make it back. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. For the Buccaneers, it was boring because for the second half of the game, Jalen Hurts didn't throw a single pass.
Yeah, I mean,
he might have thrown a pass. He threw for 0 yards.
Yeah. So obviously, before you said, was this the worst game of the week? And I said no, and I'm eyeing up 2 other games for that title this week. But I was just having a quick look because this is possibly the only game that I could consider being the best game of the week. But purely because they are good winning teams.
Yeah, teams
not
who can
because I actually find them exciting at the moment.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like the Broncos. I think they're genuinely. I'm looking at the Broncos thinking they're the more exciting team than the Eagles at the moment.
Yeah. If you want to watch 2 teams who can actually put points on the offense, this is the game to watch.
If you want to watch strategic football, I'd watch this game. But exciting, the best game in the week in that way, I don't think it is actually that.
So, and what are your thoughts here? Please tell me.
I think that so one of the things we're doing, obviously we're doing all-line fantasy this year, and I said I was fucking pissed off because the center I had is the Broncos center, and he picked up 5 fucking penalties in one game.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the shit going on like that, we've already seen playing the Eagles this year. If you make a mistake or 2, they are able to take such an advantage that there is no way to win the game. So you've got to come into this game and basically play perfect.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, I think that the Denver defense is great. I think the O-line for the Broncos, apart from that 1 week, is great. The offense in regards to the run game and the passing game, I think both can have improvements, but I think they are good. And I think the Eagles' defense isn't as good as I feel it was last year. I think that's because they've lost a bit of veterancy in there. Then they've kind of focused a bit more on younger players.
Yeah.
So I do think the Broncos have a chance to do this. But yeah, it has become the whole boring thing of Philadelphia just seeming to just find a way to win, without being exciting.
Yeah, it's the whole what Nick was saying about the Chiefs is like we're not going to show our hand. We're going to do what we need to win, and only what we need to do to win, which is fair enough. It's not exciting football, and as obviously a fan of another team, very frustrating to watch a team being able to win in that way, where they don't have to go past second gear to win a game. But they are a winning team, and you can't doubt that. I would prefer it if the Broncos win this game, just because. Yeah.
No,
I want teams to win in an exciting fashion, and currently the Eagles aren't doing that. They were far more exciting last year. Obviously, they weren't the champions, so they had reasons to be a bit more gung ho.
Yeah, this is what I don't like when I'm talking like this about the Eagles, because it feels very jump on the bandwagon and shit on the reigning champions team. But it's not because that the reigning champions is like, if they were playing like they did last year, this year, and winning again, I would probably be behind them more. But they aren't looking good. Like, I mean, football wise, winning wise, they're looking good. Exciting. I'm spending 3 hours watching this game. Waste of 3 hours time.
Yeah. I think we both have the same type of opinion there. We can move on to the next game. This potentially could be the worst game of the week. This is Miami Dolphins at the Carolina Panthers.
This is one of my two worst games of the week, and also our first prediction game of the week.
Miami Dolphins with their first win of the season over at the New York Jets, against the New York Jets, sorry, not at the New York Jets, and the Panthers getting shut out by the one and only New England Patriots. Let's talk about it. The Miami Dolphins won because they beat the Jets. They obviously have now lost Tyreek Hill, their wide receiver one. Potentially could be a good thing.
He seems to think so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he looked buzzing. The only reason I say that is obviously he's such a big personality. When his confidence drops, you see like the team's confidence seems to drop, and maybe that kind of while he's obviously an electric player, and while he might not be having a game and he's getting covered, it opens up the avenues for other teams, other players to play really well. He had that the first season he was at Dolphins, he was unbelievable. So I'm not doubting that he's a great player and will make an impact on a game. However, like I said, with the fact that he seems to lose confidence in the team seems to follow in the same suit, and maybe there's more chance of them having a better game because they will be relying on other players to kind of be the bigger personality who might be a bit more positive in that sense. I have not paid too much attention to the Panthers before the Patriots game. They obviously somehow shut out the Falcons. So maybe you can comment on their ability to do that. But I'm going to say against the Patriots, I want to say it in the Patriots were amazing. They looked really, really bad. I'm going to say right now, like, our defense is far from perfect, and I don't want to talk about the Patriots too much because we'll get to them. Our defense is far from perfect. We really, really struggle in the secondary. We really, really struggle at linebacker. They made our defense look great. They barely rushed. They could hardly rush the ball. They were really struggling there. They only passed for 150 yards against us. The fact that they beat you after watching the game they played against us is like shocking to me. So obviously, bad teams can win games. I just cannot see them even coming close to Miami after what I saw.
Yeah, the Miami defense is the one thing that's making me pick them as a winner for this. Carolina, I don't know what's up. Like, I think we both said at the start of the season, like Leggett, Bryce Young, we have hopes for them, but they quickly died out with how they're performing this season.
Yeah, and the fact, and I want to say that the reason that we have hopes for them or had hopes for them is because of them as personalities, not because we all of a sudden thought that they were going to have an amazing seasons.
Yeah,
but it's still been extremely disappointing on that side.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do think that some of their play is kind of just voodoo magic, good luck type thing.
Yeah,
Because there are certain times when defensively they seem to just be schemed up perfectly, and then other times where they're like, "Oh, that's the scheme. That's what'll do it for us." All right, let's choose not to do that. We'll just not communicate,
yeah,
and we'll not do that and let them through, and then the game will be over, and then we can just go home and chill.
go home and chill. Yeah, yeah,
Like I don't. Carolina are now becoming that team that now I'm not only understanding, but I'm also getting the feelings that you get towards the Jags, but without them just being weird and everything being like, what was the reason for that?
yeah. Like they just don't make sense. Obviously, the Jags have turned it around a little, but I know what you mean. Is like you'll watch them in one play and you'll be like, "All right, decent. They look good," and then the next play, it's like all fundamentals are lost.
Yeah, yeah.
And they forget, they've got even what a football looks like.
And honestly, like on the Dolphin side, like offensively, I feel like without Tyreek there, they might actually do better.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. I agree. He's obviously your superstar. He's the superstar on the team, and I don't really want to speak. I mean, he's not a great human being, so it doesn't matter. When you have a superstar on your team, you obviously want to feed that superstar.
Mm-hmm.
If that superstar is underperforming, it's typical that that superstar no longer is the superstar. However, Tyreek Hill is a bit of a diva. So I imagine no matter how much he is underperforming, he's still going to expect the same amount of bullshit.
Yeah, I
taking...
imagine every single play, if the ball didn't go his way for whatever reason, he will come off the sideline and scream at somebody saying, "I was open. Give it to me next play."
Yeah, and that is taken away from people like Jalen Waddle, who I think is
I also
could be a great player. He could be a great wide receiver one somewhere. Is how I see his ability.
I also think that they could go back to how they played that year. They were really good, and a bit of that was concentrating more on the run game. They have the speedy Achan,
yeah,
and they have a power running back now in Ollie Gordon.
but like you
Although
said,
I don't know how much power that's going to do against that defender that I showed you at the Panthers.
yeah, the fucking demon.
Derek Brown or something.
Like you said at the top, this is a prediction game. I think we've both shown our cards. I guess I'll go first. I'm going to go for Miami on this one.
You've activated my trap card. Miami! Yeah, Miami for me.
Perfect.
All right, next game. And also our next prediction game.
Okay, and this is the Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. The Houston Texans coming off a win at the Titans, a shutout win 26-0, and the Ravens coming out of a loss 37-20 to the Chiefs. They still can't get one over on them. and the extra loss of obviously losing their star quarterback, Lamar Jackson. We talked a little bit about this game, obviously, at the beginning because we talked about Lamar Jackson being out. I still struggle with this Texans offense. Did you see CJ Stroud's interview where he said that age is catching up to him and he feels slower? And he's like 24-year-old. Did you see this?
I haven't seen his actual interview, but I have seen the quote, yeah.
Very strange thing to say at the age of 24. Whether it's the age catching up with him or the fact that he probably gets twatted 17 times a game. I don't know. I'm struggling.
Maybe it's a defender we haven't heard of properly yet.
Yeah.
Age just keeps catching up to me and fucking me up.
Yeah. I'm still yet to see anything from this Texans offense. He reminds me of CJ Stroud's rookie year. Nothing seems to be clicking. Their offensive line is only second worst because the Bengals O-line exists. I don't know. I think even with a backup quarterback in Cooper Rush, that John Harbaugh is such a great coach that he will be able to take this game in the Baltimore Ravens' favour. Obviously, one team's coming off a win and one team's coming off a loss. One team was playing the Chiefs and one team was playing quite possibly the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
And that first half, I think it was, by the Texans, I think every drive ended in a field goal. I think they've kicked 4 field goals to open up the game.
Yeah.
And when you're playing a team like the Titans, who are struggling, you need to be doing better than that. Yeah, so 1, 2... Oh, yeah. No. So, yeah, it was 2 field goals to take them to 6-0 before they scored a touchdown. However, it was field goal, punt, missed field goal, and then a touchdown.
Okay.
So they only scored the first touchdown in the fourth quarter, which they went on to score 3.
Garbage time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we kind of discussed this at the top. Texans do have a decent defense. Ravens...
They could be losing Alshire, couldn't they? There's potential for him to get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Either way, like statistically, it's supposed to be like the Texans have a good defense. Ravens have a good offense, but I think that obviously, like we said, kind of heavily relies on Lamar Jackson. Don't know how that's going to play out with Cooper Rush back there. But the Ravens' defense isn't that great. I would say that maybe the Texans' offense could take advantage of that. But after seeing, oh my god, that play with the Titans' defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons, who literally, like they even said it on the broadcast, almost caught the ball before Stroud did. He got through that fast because of, I don't know if it was miscommunication or like the play was called wrong or the O-line are just that shit at their jobs. Yeah, that was ridiculous. And of course, Stroud is gonna age faster. Like I assume his kneecaps already feel like the dust that Thanos created when he snapped. Like I've watched that play multiple times, and I've watched somebody explain what should have happened because later on they do it correctly. Don't get me wrong, they still only make minimal from it. But the way that like fuck up, 1, cost them yards, but 2, that one player on your team is the one thing that you really need to succeed.
Yeah.
and he's already saying like, I mean, hopefully they don't bench him like Anthony Richardson, like when he said he was tired for that drive that time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he benched himself. Let's not forget that.
Well, he said he was tired, and then they were like, and he was like, "Let me just sit out for like 2 snaps," and they were like, "All right, no, let's sit you out for 3 games."
yeah, good point.
Let's see how tired you are now.
Yeah. It's definitely the thing is that Texans team and CJ Stroud in that first season, unbelievable. They looked so good. We was talking about how electric they looked and all that kind of stuff. They regressed quite a lot. They called it a slump for CJ Stroud. Obviously, when you looked into the stats, he was getting pressured way more than any other quarterback in the league, pretty much. And in the playoff game where they almost beat the Chiefs, they obviously looked a lot better. CJ Stroud seemed to lock in. And somehow this year, they seem to take an even bigger step backwards. Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a prediction game. Like you said yourself. Do you want to tell me your prediction first?
Yeah, you went first on the last one, so I'm going to go first on this. I'm going to go wild card. I'm going to go left field with this one. I am actually going to go with the Texans.
Okay. I'm happy to stick with the Ravens. I was hoping to just go opposite to you anyway, because why the fuck not? But yeah, the Ravens is probably who I would have picked if I picked first.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to...
This is the other, this is the other competitor I've got for worst game of the week, by the way.
Nice. We have got the Tennessee Titans playing at the Arizona Cardinals. The Tennessee Titans obviously just got absolutely shut out by the Texans 26-0, and the Cardinals lost to the Seahawks 23-20. I will start off by saying I do think the Tennessee Titans are quite possibly the worst team in the league. Not much to say about that. You obviously, I guess you saw what Cam Ward said, which are quite funny. Did you see that? Did you happen to see that?
What, where he said, we're ass right now?
Yeah. I mean, I like the honesty. He's not lying, is he?
No, he is literally just being candid, and I also think it's not the ego, but the whole thing of like, if he was a 3rd round pick, if he was like a Dylan Gabriel or a Joe Sanders type, maybe he'd be like, okay, I shouldn't say that type of thing. But because he was the overall number 1 pick,
yeah,
he was like, I'm going to tell it how it is. They drafted me because they needed me to change this team.
Yeah, and something's not happening. I like the honesty. Obviously, I don't think the team are going to like it too much. I haven't really paid too much attention to the Arizona Cardinals, so I don't really know how well they're doing, in the sense like their 2 wins come against the Saints and the Panthers, and the 2 losses came against the 49ers and the Seahawks. So obviously they beat 2 of the worst teams in the league, and then they've lost to 2 teams who I probably wouldn't even put top 5 so far. So is it another sense of them just being extremely mid? I don't know, because like I said, I haven't paid too much attention to them.
Possibly. I mean, like yourself, I haven't really paid too much attention to them. I wanted to watch the cornerback. I'm spacing on the name.
Will Johnson,
who was like shut down that week 1, but he has been injured.
Which was the reason he slipped so far, was because of his injuries.
So yeah, I've not paid too much attention to these guys either. I think the most I've seen of them this season was when they wore the rival uniform, and I paid attention because it does actually look kind of cool. All right, what are the games on?
Yeah, I mean, their end zone looked really, really cool. So that was the game. It was against the Seahawks, wasn't it? It was when they played in the rival uniform. I really like the badge. The Arizona flag as the end zone. That looked really cool.
Yeah.
But not much to say about this. It's an easy win for the Cardinals. They're going to be 3-2 because they played 3 of the 5 worst teams in the league.
So moving on to the actual game that I'm probably going to consider the best game of the week.
I'm here with you. I do like this matchup. It's obviously with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. Tampa Buccaneers only just losing out to the Eagles 31-25, and the Seattle Seahawks beating the Arizona Cardinals 23-20. We're both huge fans of Baker Mayfield. Unfortunately, obviously, he's in your league. And Seattle Seahawks looking like one of the better teams in the league right now. To be fair, pretty scary as a team.
Yeah, I saw something today where somebody was like, Sam Darnold's highlight tape is just hilarious because it's clear he's a top pick for a quarterback for a team, but the New York Jets were just shit and always will be shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. He's obviously carrying on at the Seahawks as he did at the Vikings, winning games, looking great. They're 3-1 now, aren't they? Same as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game could genuinely be a shootout. We could see a very high-scoring game here, but I do think we're going to see a very intense game that's going to pretty much come down to the last play of the game.
And because you're thinking like this was our third and final prediction game.
Wonderful, and it's me to go first. I do think overall that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is better than the Seattle Seahawks offense, despite obviously them looking great. In my mind, the Seattle Seahawks offense is a bit more two-dimensional. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a bit more dynamic. It doesn't mean that I think the Seahawks offense is bad. I do think the Seahawks defense, however, is better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense to the same level of what the Buccaneers offense is over the Seahawks offense. I do think. As for predictions, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers edging this one, taking themselves to 4-1, but it will be a very close game.
I really like both of these teams. I do think that you're right. The Bucs have a great offense, but I think because Mike Evans is still out, Godwin's only just coming back in, Bucky Irving being out, I'm still not 100% sure about the Tampa Bay O-line as well. I feel like it has got better since Wirfs has come back and everybody's gone back to their own positions, but I'm still not 100% sure. Obviously, like, the stats have got better, but that could just have been 1 week. Seattle, I think they have like their issues every now and again with mistakes, but they're looking very good and the defense is looking very good. I know they're out like the star cornerback in Devin Witherspoon for this week, but I don't feel like that's going to cause too much of an issue when, you know, Igbuka's the main guy on offense now that you've got to defend. Other people you don't really have to care about, like that silly tight end that they've got. So I'm going to go with Seattle Seahawks.
Nice. The next game, and for me, this is a game that could have been the game of the week. This is the Detroit Lions against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Detroit Lions beating the Browns 34-10. The Bengals getting destroyed by the Broncos 28-3. The main reason that this game isn't going to be the game of the week is simply because Joe Burrow isn't playing. Otherwise, we definitely could have seen a huge shootout style game. For me, there's not much to say about this in the sense that the Lions should easily walk this game. Since with Jake Browning at the helm of that Bengals offense, they are really struggling. When he came in on the game that Burrow got injured, he obviously led them to a win. It was against the Jaguars, wasn't it? He did look a bit sloppy, but it was kind of like he did what he needed to do to win that game. He's just looked terrible in the 2 games after that. Just like not any level of good. And the Detroit Lions are pretty much, in the terms of skilled positions and in the terms of positions on the defense, pretty much at full strength. So, which is different for the Lions. They're used to having at least 74 people out. I just don't see how the Lions lose this game.
Yeah, no, there's There's no possible way. There's nothing in their way defensively. They've got no pressure coming on their O-line. And yeah, like you said, in the past year or two, when we've been like, this could be their year, injuries has absolutely fucked them over, especially on the defensive side of the team.
Yeah.
They're not like this year. There's no way that like this offense is putting up. You know what? I don't even think they're going to put up 100 passing yards against Detroit.
It
really
wouldn't
don't.
shock me. It really, really wouldn't shock me. They've looked terrible with Jake Brown in there. The one question I do want to ask you is, if they do if Jake Browning has another really poor game, which I think we both think he probably will, do they go and look to replace him? And who do you think they will replace him with? Who would you want them to? Who do you want them to replace him with?
All the reports are saying that they're going after our guy.
That's what I was going to ask you is, who do you think realistically they will go? Who would you want them to go? They can both be the same person, or you could say like, no, they'll probably. What are your thoughts there?
So the things I keep saying Kirk, but I don't think they will. I don't think he, one, is to their standard, and two, salary wise, they already spent too much on an injured player and two receivers that aren't getting the ball, so they can't afford him. I think they will try and aim to get Russell Wilson or Jameis.
Yeah, so you do think that will, depending on how this game goes, they'll end up replacing Browning, and
yeah, and
one of the Giants QBs will be their target.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's how this game goes. It's not, we'll see how this game goes thing. We know how this game is going. It 100% is going to be a Lions win. And I think even if Browning does an okay job as a singular entity quarterback, I don't think that keeps him safe.
No, and I think
because like he could have a 400-yard passing game this game, but they're not going to win, and because they're not going to win, they're going, okay, your time's up.
I mean, so do you see it like, if they somehow manage to sneak away, they'll stick it out Jake Browning? Because obviously this is the turnover game where it's like this can put them into the start of a losing season. They obviously started off 2-0 for the first time in a very, and then this will obviously flip them into a losing season. But if they manage to sneak a win out for whatever reason, they beat all the odds, is it worth them to still try and make a change at quarterback?
I think yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I think even if it's we're not having a winning season, let's just experiment and see what else works for us.
Yeah. Okay.
And even if it's definitely not going to be a winning season, I mean, it's hard to say, but like you could even play it smart. Have been all right. Well, let's not put Burrow back in because let's not risk injuring him anymore or getting an even worse injury that could like keep him out until the start of next year. Let's keep him healthy so he's got as much time to prep for next year.
Yeah. Well, I
don't think people would do that because of who he is as a player. Like you do that with rookies, but not.
I think so. I think the thing I was saying is like I don't know if they're going to go for a lose. It's just that this will obviously put them on a losing record. All of a sudden, be 2-3. So this game is probably the more important game for their record, in a sense of they'll go from a winning record to a losing record. Anyway, enough about the sexual abuse that we'll see on the screen when the Lions play the Bengals, and on to the Washington Commanders playing at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Washington Commanders lost to your team, that is the Falcons, and the Los Angeles Chargers lost to the Giants. This is an interesting game for me. These two teams, I for me in the sense of are in a similar position. The Chargers have had a much better start to the season, but if I'm taking last year into consideration as well, these two teams very similar in the sense of what they're capable of. But like you said yourself, the Chargers are now down to backups in both tackles. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of them. Like Slater did it before the start of the season, so they had time to prep. But it's still like they're not your they're not your starter tackles.
Yeah, and the Commanders' defense is obviously a bit on the older side, but it's still a great defense.
Yeah, it feels like when there's been an opening, Von Miller has been able to get through onto teams.
Yeah, so I think this is a very early like playoff decider for both teams. The Chargers have more chance of winning out in their division. Struggle because they've got Philadelphia, so their only real shot through the wild card. So I do see this as like an early playoff game.
Yeah,
in a sense of like this could really put a nail in their playoff push for whoever wins this game.
Yeah, I'm just like the only thing that I'm worried about is if the Commanders win, all this looks like is that the Chargers can only beat teams in their division.
Yeah.
Which means they're not going to have a winning season, even though they started off strong.
Yeah, because they won their first 3 divisional games, didn't they? It's been a bit different for the Chargers. Obviously, Justin is looking good. He had a great regular season last year and obviously choked it away in that he's having a similar very good season this year. Quentin Johnston is now somehow who's something has happened to Lad McConkey. You're a huge Lad McConkey fan, so maybe you can give your thoughts on that. Deebo Samuel seems to be. I mean, we said it when we were watching the game. Deebo Samuel looks a lot more like Deebo Samuel from 2023 than he did the last season. For me, he's not as good as he was, but he's definitely closer to that version than he was the version last season. So, yeah, the Washington Commanders' passing attack just doesn't seem as dynamic. I don't know why or what's changed there or anything, but yeah, for me this is win to make it to the playoffs kind of game.
Yeah, and I mean it is going to be interesting to see what like Jaden Daniels does like coming back from injury, especially given like how his season kind of started.
Yeah,
people were kind of comparing it to the Stroud slump.
Yeah, the sophomore slump. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game. But it is one of them because they're both coming off losses. They're both got injuries. That's the only reason that like it's not being put as like the most exciting game of the week. If both teams were healthy and like they'd had, I mean, the Chargers have had a season that we expected them to, but they lost last week because of injury to a New York team that we never thought would get that win.
Yeah.
And then in Washington, if they performed like they did last year offensively and everything, but their O-line was a bit better, this could be game of the week, but there are just like issues.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see what both teams' identities are in this game because it feels like it's going to be that identity for a good few weeks going forward.
Yes.
All right. Next up, we've got your favorite game. So the late night game.
This is what I was going to say. This is my game of the week. I am hyped.
See, like I think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be biased here. This is New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, a huge divisional game. The Buffalo Bills, they've just beat the Saints 31-19. 42-13. I'll let you get your thoughts out of the way and probably rant for a little bit.
I mean, it's one of them. Just looking at it on the schedule, it does look like this is going to be an easy Buffalo win. But seeing how you've been playing, I think you're going to put up a scrappy fight. I know Buffalo should definitely be worried about kick or punt returns because it seems like you're getting 1 to 2 of them per game now. That just seems to be your quota that you're filling.
Special teams is 33% of the game.
Yeah, it is. It would be a bit more interesting to see, the running game step up with Trayvon Henderson. I don't understand why it's still being given to, like, the fumbleers.
Yeah. Same.
Well, then I guess, other teams are doing. Derrick Henry keeps getting the ball every single week. Buffalo, obviously, we spoke about them before because of Josh Allen. Absolute powerhouse of a team. Does feel like it's mainly reflected around him. But, James Cook is having, I would say, a breakout year. I think he's always been good, but, like, this year is, like, next level. Maybe something in that contract, like he unlocked a new skill tree. Something like that. And then, the line's looking decent. I know your defensive line have actually been able to put up some decent pressure numbers this year, but this is a good old line to try and get through. So don't.
Yeah.
And like you said, even if you can get through this line, because of how Josh Allen is as an escape artist, physical player, it's doubtful that you'll get the actual sack.
Right, I'm going to talk about my team.
Oh, I see you took off the timer for your talk.
Well, he's way over half the time, and I need more than 1 minute 25 seconds or whatever you left me with. Maybe I don't. You're right when you say on paper this should be a win for the Buffalo Bills. They're considered, and rightfully so, to be the best team in the AFC at the minute, maybe the best team in the league. Obviously, we're a rebuilding team with a new head coach, new coordinators, a sophomore quarterback, pretty much new wide receiver room. However, there's one thing that I always say: we show up against the Bills. Doesn't matter who's on the team, doesn't matter how well we're doing that season, we always show up against them. The other thing I will say is that I was really impressed with how we played against the Panthers. As I said before, looked terrible. But our offense was it just looks like we get in there now, like we're clicking. We know what we're doing. Stephon Diggs is getting the ball a lot more. Obviously, our downfall is the fact, like you said, we're still determined to give Ramondre Stevenson the rock, which I don't understand. He shouldn't even shouldn't be even on the field, in my opinion. I really like him as a running back. You can't turn over the ball this many times. Expect to play. One thing I will highlight is Drake May's efficiency. I think he's gone in every game he's played over 75% completion rate, or over 70% completion rate, pretty much. 75 in the last 3 games, so 82.6 Miami, 75.7% completion rate against Steelers, and 82.4 against Carolina Panthers, and scored two touchdowns in each game. Which, if I read, the only person who has done that in more games in a row is Tom Brady. Only did it in 4. I'm completely bought into the hype of this team right now. And I think that just comes down to the fact that I don't want to sound like a spoiled child, but for the past, however, 2-3 years, we've obviously been one of the worst teams. So it's nice to see us playing at a really good level. So I'm buying into the hype. This is going to be a true test. Now, Do I think we're going to walk away with a win? Realistically, no. But if we can, like you said, make it a scrappy fight, if our offense doesn't all of a sudden crumble just because we're being beat, if our defense is still putting 100% effort, it will be, for me, it will be a success. We'll obviously slip to 3-2, 2-3. Much rather us be 3-2. But yeah, I think if we can still keep our identity, our offense, we're still trying to put up on. If the only way the Bills win this game is the Bills were a better team because we played like shit, I'll be happy. Now, I do want to end this by apologising to Will Campbell. That's what I want to say.
Apologising? Why?
At the draft, when we watched the draft, I was very visibly upset. And I was upset because it wasn't a sexy
pick.
It's a sexy pick. Will Campbell is a sexy man. I'm going to say that now. What a season he's having, honestly. Like, some, especially on the offensive line, someone people aren't talking about him. No one's getting past him, or basically no one's getting past him. He's not giving up penalties. He's not making mistakes. And then you watch him, and he's putting 110% effort in. I don't know how many times I've plays where we've had like a check down throw to the outside, or an outside zone run, or a stretch type run, and you're looking at it and you're like, Jesus Christ, that tight end has got out there to make that block, and you're like, God, that's Will Campbell. Like, it's so impressive. Like, obviously you love effort, but when effort comes with someone who's actually also really fucking good, it's so good to watch. Genuinely, Will Campbell is amazing. And I never thought I would say this. Quite possibly my favourite player on the team right now.
Nice. I mean, yeah he is looking great. He is.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be Trayvon Henderson. I really, really wanted Trayvon Henderson to be my favourite player. Obviously, as a person who's played running back, I really enjoyed the running back role. I really wanted it to be Trayvon Henderson, but right now it is Will Campbell. Will Campbell is the heart of this team.
He is, and I think you should have recognised that would have happened the second he gave his draft speech.
Yeah. No. And this is why I want to apologise. Because I should have. You are 100% right. I 100% should have realised how amazing this play was going to be when he was crying, saying he's going to fight and die for this team. I just thought he was like a bit of hype. He truly meant it.
Oh,
truly
100%.
meant it. Great player. Unbelievable player.
Should we move on now, or are you still?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the Patriots anymore. I am going to say I'm excited to see the Bills all white uniform.
Oh yeah.
We shall move on to the. Just so you know, I'm crying right now. Tears down my eyes after my passionate speech about Will Campbell. Not really. Anyway, we shall move on to the.
Or fight and die for this apology.
We shall move on to the final game. This is at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I never thought I would say this, but the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-2, where the Jacksonville Jaguars are 3-1. Very weird. The Kansas City Chiefs coming off a win against the Baltimore Ravens, 37-20. The Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a win at the 49ers. For me, there's no way in hell would I have thought by week 5, when the Jacksonville Jaguars were playing the Kansas City Chiefs, that the Jacksonville Jaguars would have a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs. Very well done to them. The other thing I would have said is if you told me that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to beat the Baltimore Ravens, or if someone came back from the future and said, in week 4, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Baltimore Ravens, I would have been like, oh my God, the Kansas City Chiefs are back. Beating the Ravens, they are so back. They're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. However, the Ravens look terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Chiefs weren't good, but they weren't amazing. I didn't look at them and go, Jesus, wow, what a win. So I don't know what. Maybe I'm on drugs, but the Jaguars surely win this game. No.
Yeah, I mean, weird team. They're playing at home. They've managed to beat teams that we thought would easily defeat them. Yeah, Jags win.
What I will say is, I think a lot of this relies on Etienne Jr. He's having a really, really good season. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is great. Still, I think he's extremely average. Their passing attack has still not been amazing. That also might come down to Brian Thomas Jr. forgetting how to catch a ball for some reason. It also might come down to whatever his face is, the unicorn, Travis Hunter, deciding he doesn't know how to play football anymore. Because he's been so unimpactful, it's crazy. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence as a passer hasn't been fantastic, but as a complete team, they've been solid. And the Kansas City Chiefs just haven't.
I mean, they have got Worthy back now. They've got one. I think this is the last game before they get Rice back. Or is Rice back week 70? He had a 6-game suspension, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they've got 2 more weeks. So they've got another 2 weeks to find an offensive identity. This is the team to at least practice on.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And yeah, just roll the bone dice and see if you can get the win. Because skill and being a good team does not guarantee you a win against the Jags.
No, especially when they're being little weirdos.
That concludes that game then.
Yes.
That concludes all of the games for week 5. Just a quick overview again. Teams that we missed out were the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, and Pittsburgh Steelers, because those 4 teams are on their bye week. Going over the prediction games, we had the Miami Dolphins at the Carolina Panthers. We both siding with the Dolphins for that one. Then we had the Houston Texans at the Ravens. I, Smith, have gone with the Texans. You, Sam, have gone with the Ravens. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Seattle Seahawks. You, Sam, have gone with the Bucs, and me, Smith, have gone with the Seahawks.
And what are the current scores?
I don't know. I don't have the file on me.
Oh, fantastic. Good news.
I am
Find out next time.
I'm either 2 points up or 1 point up.
Oh, so,
because
okay.
You got within 1 point, and then last week happened. Where every single one of us lost one of the predictions because it ended in a fucking draw.
Yeah. To be fair, I was expecting you to be a lot further ahead of me, so I'm happy to be 2 points behind you.
Yeah, no, one of the weeks I really fucked up.
Well, on to next week.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for listening. I've been Smith, which is at Sky.Smith on Instagram and Instagram only. You can follow the podcast at BritCaveBlitz on social medias. Samuel at TequiLIAR.
TequiLIAR, yeah, exactly.
Anything you want to say?
I really do apologise, Will Campbell. Not that you're going to hear this, but I'm really sorry for my transgressions.
I will fight and I will die for this BritCaveBlitz.
It's a good impression.